Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about King of the Mischievous South by Denzel Curry. Denzel Curry has 7.5 million monthly listeners on Spotify alone. Coming out of Florida, he's been in the game for basically 10 years now. This is going to be his 7th studio album. Obviously, he had that song back in the day, Alternate, you were the opposite, and that kind of established him, luckily for now, on a bigger scale. And then he continued to make music. Obviously, he was a XXL freshman, and he's a decently big artist, I'd say. I do believe he has a pretty niche fan group. I do believe that he's relatively big in his world of sound, and I don't know anybody that really hates Denzel Curry. But this new album, King of the Mischievous South, is 19 songs, 51 minutes. 19 is too many, but there are 4 interludes in the intro and the outro, 4 not actual songs, so 15 songs, let's say 48 minutes and some change, whatever. And a fuck ton of features. We've got a feature on every track except for one. We've got Kingpin, Skinny Pimp, Keen Nayada, Maxo Cream, Tia Corinne, ASAP Ferg, Duke Deuce, Slim Gorilla, Mexican OT, Mike Dimes, 2 Chainz, Kenny Mason, Project Pat, Ty Dolla $ign, Juicy J, Sauce Walka, 454, Armani White, Ski Mask, Laser Dim, BK the Ruler, Play That Boy Zay, and ASAP Rocky. A fuck ton of features, damn near somebody else's album and not Denzel's. But to get into the notes, this album feels longer than it is, I think. The intros and stuff don't help, but it starts off with ultra shit with Key, and that one's like fine, it's safe. We get into Set It, also fine and safe. Hot One is better. The Tia Corinne verse is pretty hard on it. And then we get into Act the Damn Fool, which was fine. Black Flag with Mexican OT. I think OT puts it over the top, but otherwise it's a pretty safe, fine song. Then we have the interlude, and then G's Up with 2 Chainz. I thought that was pretty boring. The Lunatic interlude I thought was the best beat on the album, and they wasted it on an interlude, and it's only 40 seconds, but it literally has more streams than some of the other actual songs on the album, and it's only an interlude. And then we get into Sked, whatever, Sked. Same thing, just it's there. Got Me Geeked is the only one that doesn't have a feature, and I don't like it. Wish List has a decent, like, fun flow, and then Still in the Paint has the best production on the album, I'd say, overall. And then Hoodlums is the only one on the album that I actually, like, would say is an actual good song. But a lot of this album just feels boring and uninspired, if I must say. I think Denzel makes a living off of having that crazy head bopper energy, and he usually has at least vocal effort or production to match it. And I don't think this album has a lot of each, and especially with all the features, and there's just a lot going on, and none of it feels, like fully authentic. Not authentic, because I don't know, bro. But it just doesn't feel like there's a lot of effort and a lot of urge to really punch a song out. It just feels like they were getting in the booth and just making music and just released it. It doesn't do what I expect a Denzel album to do. But that's just my opinion. But to get into the grades, they're also my opinion. And for production, I gave it a 6.5. I think there's too many boring moments. There's a lot of the same sounds. I don't know how to describe the sound. It's like a harmonical synth, if you will, throughout the background on a lot of the tracks. And again, I just think it's boring. I think Denzel needs to have an energy, to have an impact. And I don't think that the production throughout this album, there's nothing that it sounds like just noise at some points. And I transparently didn't really want to finish the album. If I wasn't making this review, I probably wouldn't have finished the album. For vocals and lyrics, I gave vocals a 3.5 because he just didn't try anything different. Almost every single song has the exact same flow and vocals and impact throughout. And if you like Denzel, awesome, great, enjoy it. But for an album with 19 songs, you could try something different or try to find something unique throughout that, and I just don't think he did. And then for lyrics, I just gave it a 3 because Denzel has too fast of a flow, and you know, his songs are too much that I know the vocals aren't too much of a focus, or excuse me, the lyrics aren't too much of a focus, because that's not what kind of rapper he is. So I'm not going to deduct too much, but I'm not going to give any points either, so I gave it a 3. For cohesion, I did give it an 8. It's cohesive in the sense that it's Denzel energy, it's Denzel sound, it's that Florida mischievous South sound. It's not like an album. It's more of a, it's not a cohesive album, but it's a cohesive sound space, which is why I gave it an 8. But there's no story or anything that's being told or anything like that throughout the album, but it's a soundscape that provides consistent sound. For originality, I gave it a 7.5. Again, just the sound and the production that's been consistent from top to bottom. And there's no new sounds for Denzel either. So it feels pretty safe. And so I gave it a 7.5. And for Care, same thing. Along that line of safeness, 7.5. There's nothing mind-blowing. There's nothing new for him. I think it's a safe Denzel Curry album. If you like Denzel, go listen to it, because I think it'll give you what you need. But a 6.5, a 3.5, a 3, an 8, a 7.5, and a 7.5 does give this a 72, a C-. I think that's very fair. Again, I wouldn't have finished this album if I didn't have to for this review. If you like Denzel, you might want to check it out. If you don't like Denzel, you could give it a listen if you want to just hear some relatively energetic, you know, Florida music. But otherwise, it's nothing special. It's not bad. It's not good. C-. That's all that I really have to say. But King of the Mischievous South, Denzel Curry. I'll see you in the next one.